Like I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing the same 5 to 10 cents being pushed by influencers. It's kind of stupid. Because to me, like fragrance is about identity. It's about, discovering notes that work for you and something that kind of expresses your identity as you're wearing this wonderful accessory, which is a fragrance. This is why I developed this series talking about signature scents. Now, if you haven't seen episode 1, make sure you go check out episode 1, get caught up, because the first 5 cents were fantastic and some kind of under the radar that you may not know about. And with that being said, we're kind of going to continue with that same flow. I want to showcase 5 signature scents from my collection in this episode that you may not know about. Some you may, some you may not. So if that sounds interesting to you, just let that intro music play. When we get back, we'll tap into the next 5 scents that I think may be perfect for you. Stay tuned. Welcome. So looks like you're back. Make sure you hit that follow. Make sure you hit that subscribe, whatever. Hit that subscribe with the notification bell. Drop a comment. Let me know what your signature scent is or the scent that you're rocking for this season. Make sure you hit that like button, all that good stuff. But my name is Madar. You are now tuned into the Fragrance Lounge. And with that being said, if you didn't check out episode 1, go back, check that out, come back to this, because episode 2 is going to continue where we left off. We're going to introduce the next 5 signature scents that are straight from my collection. Now, I'm not going to tell you these scents are perfect. I'm not going to tell you they're the best. I just don't think best exists in the fragrance world. And any influencer that says this is the best scent ever, I guarantee you they're just doing it for the money. Okay? Capiche? All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to tell you about these 5 signature scents, why they work for me, why I'm choosing them. And I guess without further ado, let's jump into the first one. 1, 2, 3. Now, the first signature scent that I'm going to recommend, it's going to start on the lower price point, is Hermes H24. And this is the EDP concentration. I love this fragrance. I love this fragrance to the point that I don't think my fragrance collection would exist without this fragrance. It's just something I would love to have. I'm going to rock that as my scent of the video. Wonderful stuff. This is an oak moss green fragrance that has a little bit of dampness, a little bit of metallic notes to it, where there's a little bit of a weirder floral composition, such as a clary sage, that comes in, and it really makes it this really herbaceous type of fragrance. This sits wonderfully in the air. This has a wonderful, vibrant energy. And to me, I think oak moss is such a smart note that just feels safe for any occasion. It's not off-putting, it's intriguing. It has that green herbaceousness without kind of overstepping its boundaries and feeling artificial. Now, given that this is a designer, it's fairly affordable, fairly easy to kind of source, I highly recommend getting your nose on it. I just think it's wonderful. You can rock this anywhere. This is a chores type of fragrance. This is a dress down type of fragrance. This is a dress up type of fragrance. You can rock this anywhere. And what I love about this fragrance is the projection, the longevity. You're not going to see this fragrance slouching as a designer fragrance. It'll stay with you for a good portion of the day. Wonderful stuff. I love Hermes for this type of fragrance. It just has that vibrancy that I love, that backdrop of woodiness that I love. And again, it's that mossy, that oak moss feeling that just, it really just feels well put together. And it's a great different take from some of the freshies or some of the, Bleu de Chanel blue fragrances that exist out there that will give you a different avenue. If you feel like Hermes, Terre de Hermes is not for you, then head this route and see how this fragrance sits on skin and as a wearing experience. But H24 EDP, yeah, hands down. I couldn't live without this fragrance. This has to always be in the collection. So big words, but I stand by it. So we'll jump over to fragrance number 2. Now, the second fragrance in this list is a fragrance from a house that I don't have too much experience with. I've tried maybe like 3 or 4 fragrances from the house, but this and a different fragrance is something I fell in love with. And I truly, truly believe if you want something that's a little bit different, a little bit unique, but executed with such perfection, this is the fragrance for you. And this is from the house of Ormonde, Jayne, and this is Nawab of Oudh. Just the regular version, not the Intensivo. To me, I didn't find too much of a difference, so that's why I kind of went with just Nawab of Oudh. But what a wonderful fragrance. Opens up with a sharp, citrusy type of feel. Has some aldehydes in here. Really nice with the pepper. There's a little bit of a tobacco, little bit of an oud, but it's clean. If you have familiarity with Ormonde Jayne fragrances, they have this type of scent DNA that they execute on really, really well. There's some floral components to this fragrance, but it just leans clean. I do think this fragrance is unisex, a little bit more masculine with the tobacco and oud, but I think it could be pulled off by anybody. But again, such a wonderfully smart fragrance. This is something that I would dress up a little bit more. I think it's great for an office wear. I think it's great for a date night, especially if you've already established maybe the first 2 dates and you just really now want to put on that smart vibe, like that I know what I'm doing type of vibe, you know? Don't ask me for nothing. Like you're not really trying to show out, but you're showing up type of vibe. And I really think Nawab of Oudh hits it on the head. I think it's a must experience type of fragrance. You can look at the note breakdown, which I'll put up here, but it's not going to justify the execution. And what I love about this fragrance is the way that it transitions throughout the wearing experience. I think during the opening stages, you're going to get that clean airiness, that aldehydic type of feel with the citruses and some of the spices. But then as it starts drying down, it's not going to lean on the denser side. It'll still be clean. It'll still have like a little bit of sharpness to it. And I don't mean sharpness in a negative way, but it'll be very clean, very gentlemanly, but it'll introduce some of those other notes that kind of spark that curiosity. That's why I love it as a signature scent. It really keeps you thinking, keeps you on your feet, and throughout the scent development, it never oversteps its boundaries, and it really is a great identity type of fragrance that if you walked into a room, it'd be unique enough to say, I know who just came in. And to me, I think that speaks volumes for a fragrance. So give it a shot if you haven't. Maybe a little bit harder to source, at least a full bottle, but it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. And that's Ormonde Jayne's Nawab of Oudh. We'll jump to the next one. Now, the third fragrance that I'd love to bring to you guys, you may have heard about it. I know Kuba knows. He does know. He's been rocking with this fragrance. I've been rocking with this fragrance for a very, very long time. This was actually one of the first few fragrances that entered my collection. And this is Fragrance du Bois London Spice. What a wonderful fragrance. Now, I will preface and say this. It's not a huge projector of a fragrance. This is fairly a skin scent type of fragrance, and there's nothing wrong with that. The way that this fragrance is and the way that it plays off of the skin and in the air is stunning, stunning, stunning. Beautiful for a little bit of a touch of a cooler weather with a breeze, like a spring, a fall season. This is just refreshing. And what causes that refreshing nature of the fragrance is the spearmint with the aquatic notes. The spices done absolutely well. It's not a spiced fragrance in the sense that you'll be like, oh, okay, it feels zingy. It feels like Viking from Creed. It's not like that. This sits in a category of its own. I actually like to call this an aquatic fougere because it feels so smart. It feels so clean. It feels so gentlemanly. Oh, what a wonderful composition. It's there. The woodiness in the backdrop is so damn good. I will say it like this. This is like one of my top dogs for signature scents, like personally. Um, if I could wake up naturally smelling like this fragrance, I would be a happy person. I would also be probably a lot richer because I wouldn't need the rest of the fragrances. But yeah, as a scent, and I will say this leans a bit masculine. As a man, this is what I'd want to smell like naturally. It has this hum type of feel. The spearmint, and you think mint, it's going to be like like out there and just obnoxious, like a Frederick Mall's geranium pour monsieur, where it smells like toothpaste. Not a single bit. This is so damn good and so well blended. I really want to emphasize the way that this fragrance is perfumed. The humming, the serenity of this fragrance is done magically. So in my honest opinion, this is something I would wear year round. I don't care what weather it is. This is something I'd wear no matter what situation I'm in. I'd probably not reserve it for like a date night, but as a smart fragrance, as an identity fragrance, as an extension to myself and my personality, I think this is almost near perfection when it comes to that. I do wish it projected a little bit more. It is what it is. You can't win every single battle. But London Spice from Fragrance du Bois. Chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss. This is wonderful stuff. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. So we'll jump to the fourth one. All right, so just to kind of clear the air, yes, I'm in a new outfit. What happened was my camera stopped working, the battery died, and essentially it was too late at night. So I figured I'd continue recording the next day, just to give you the context. But doesn't change the concept of the video because we are introducing our fourth scent, and this is Contemporary by Clive Christian. Now, it's not 1872, and it does look familiar. It does have slight similarities in the way that the fragrance wears, but it is a totally different scent. Now, I love Clive Christian. If you guys know this about the channel, you know how much I love 1872, X for Men, Hedonistic, so on and so forth. The way Clive Christians wear is exactly what I love in fragrances, and this is what makes it signature scent worthy. Now, I remember the first time I went into a store and I had the luxury of smelling Contemporary, and they also have another 150-year anniversary edition fragrance. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's called Timeless. But Contemporary resonated with me, and I searched high and low to get a bottle, and I finally got one. Love, love, love this scent. What I love about this fragrance is this subtle sweetness in the opening that kind of resonates throughout the fragrance. It's if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the blackberry that provides this beautiful juiciness. It's so damn nice. Mixed in with a geranium, a nice floral component, and a violet, which really doesn't overstep its boundaries in the sense of creating something that is too dark of a fragrance. This fragrance leans sort of like 1872, where it has that fresh spiciness, it has that fresh greenness to it, without really leaning too heavily on the greener notes. This does have some oak moss in it, but other than that, I think the floral components of this fragrance, which leans more masculine in my honest opinion, is what really captivates me about this scent. I think, again, that spiciness with the black pepper, with, again, that juicy component of the blackberry, it's just absolutely fantastic. To me, this is a dress-up fragrance. I'm not dressing this one down. I think you need to be in a proper setting for this. And for me, like if I was in an office setting, it's going to be perfectly safe because I think the ingredients in itself are very friendly to the nose. You want to go and play 18 rounds of golf or 9 rounds of golf, whatever you're into, even friggin' mini putt, whatever the case may be. This is a fantastic fragrance. You want to dress this up. You want to wear maybe like a dress shirt, a polo, something like that. Absolutely, absolutely divine. So even though you may need some circumstances or certain criterias to make this fragrance match, I think given your situation in life, what you do in life, I think this fragrance would be extremely perfect for a signature scent, something that you could no brain reach into and really just enjoy the wearing experience. I think that's where Clive Christian shines. The longer this sits on skin, the longer this sits on clothes, the more the fragrance develops, and it just unlocks each layer with the beautiful cedarwood, the beautiful nutmeg that comes out of it, and it adds this beautiful woodiness that plays well with the other notes. And I'm telling you, that violet to me is the star of the show. It's really not dark. It's just, it has that floral nuance where you sit there and you're just like, there's something that's really done well about this fragrance, and that's what I really love what the violet brings. Beautiful stuff. Highly recommend getting your nose on this. If you do find this one a little bit hard to get, a great substitute would be 1872 for men, even 1872 for women. If I have women viewers watching this, so definitely check those out. But Clive Christian, I love this house. So that is number 4, and we'll jump to the last fragrance of episode 2. This last fragrance is from a house that I've covered religiously on this channel, and it's Boadicea the Victorious. It is Legend. Now, obviously, we're in the higher price point of the video where, you know, I'm kind of slowly integrate higher price fragrances as we kind of go in from the first one to the 5th one. This one is up there. This one is also very hard to find, but what a beautiful fragrance. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start, but this is Legend. Now, I had a near heart attack moment with this fragrance just about like 2 weeks ago. I was pulling something from the back of the shelf and I accidentally hit Boadicea, and it toppled the fragrance from the top. And luckily, I have carpet flooring. It landed on the carpet, and the only thing that broke was her wand, which I super glued. So I'm keeping this bottle regardless. Yeah, it was kind of like my heart was broken, but it is what it is. Anyways, what a fragrance this is. Truly unisex. You have to be into powdery scents. I'll just put it like that. The blendability of this fragrance is phenomenal. I love my powdery scents. I really do. I have a whole bunch of Chanel's. This is sort of like that and higher, right? The quality of it is going to be so much superior. The longevity is going to be so much superior than Chanel Privé's. This is just absolutely dynamic and fantastic. Really has that beautiful powdery element to it. There's a smoothness, a richness, a comfortability to this scent. This is a far more luxurious scent. If you are, again, in that setting where you need something that complements who you are as a person, right? You have that suave, you have that elegance. You're in settings that are very upper echelon. This to me is one of the perfect scents to really complement your wardrobe. It's a scent that you'll definitely keep going to, right? Again, if you're in that class, it's a scent that, you know, will speak volumes. There's not too many people that will smell like you. It is wonderful stuff. And my goodness, what a scent for Boadicea in herself. So, you know, if you get an opportunity to smell this, start with a 2 ml, 5 ml, see how the powdery elements really kind of resonate with you. I wouldn't say it's powdery like Chanel where you got the aldehydes kind of coming through. There's so many florals in this. The smoothness, the richness of it is really aerated. So it doesn't necessarily feel like it's a dense fragrance. However, you got to be into the florals. You got to be into the powdery nuances. But this is top of the tier, like, line, you know, in my honest opinion. And again, don't hold me to this because it's just my honest opinion. I do enjoy this more than the Raja Purple Cap powdery fragrances like Chypre Extraordinaire, Great Britain, things like that, right? To me, I think this one is a home run. So that kind of concludes. I'm about to break the staff again. Fuck me. that concludes the 5 fragrances in episode 2. So let me know in the comments below which ones you resonated with, which ones you would love to try. I think, honestly, like, to wrap up this, if I were to really focus in on 2 out of the fragrances from this list, which I think this whole list is fantastic. London Spice as a signature scent, wonderful. And I would also take a look at Contemporary if you have the ability to find it. So I'll make sure I post some links down in the description box below. If you have the ability of getting some samples, grab it. It'll definitely help the channel grow. We do get a tiny bit of a kickback, not much, but it is what it is. I'll take it. And most importantly, it provides you a safe space to shop. So with the wardrobe change, I hope you enjoyed your stay in the Fragrance Lounge, and most importantly, have a excellent happy new year. Let me know what fragrance you're ringing in the new year with. Make sure you subscribe, comment, all that good stuff below. I'll catch you guys on the next one, probably wearing the same outfit. Much love. Peace out. Take care. Bye.